Admin आपसे कह रहा है कि a processor is currently executing a program. The processor receives an interrupt. Explain how the processor manages the current program and interrupt. All right, so you need to answer this for 5 marks. So, do you have any answers in mind? हम्म इसके लिए 5 पॉइंट्स हम क्या लिखेंगे? Any guesses? देखो, पेपर one of the important point from your paper is the usage of ISR. ISR stands for Interrupt Service Routine. So, Interrupt Service Routine is basically a service that allows you to deal with possible causes of errors and their priority. So, for example, if you have an error and the priority of the error is high, so that means that error has to be solved at the most earliest one because the priority is high. Similarly, you have medium level and low level interrupts as well, or you can call them errors. So they are solved respectively. So in this question, it says that you have a processor that is currently executing a program. The processor receives an interrupt. You need to explain that how the processor manages. So I have one answer here. It says every interrupt is given a priority and placed in an interrupt queue. The interrupt with the highest priority is processed first. Okay, it's also fine. It's also correct. I'm also writing the sample answer for here for 5 marks. So let me write it. So first of all, you are going to write that interrupt is given priority and they are placed in an interrupt queue. So that basically means this is your first point, this is your second point. The answer which you shared, Sayan, it's also correct, and the answer which I'm doing is also correct. So then you can also write that processor finishes current fetch execute cycle for program, and then your processor checks interrupt priority queue. Now you can write that processor will check for higher priority queues if higher priority if higher priority then processor will store current processes or registers. If low priority processor runs next fetch decode execute cycle. Write like this. You can also write more points, like for example, it also checks for the source of interrupts, as like from where those interrupts are coming, and it also calls ISR, which is known as interrupt service routine, to handle and resolve. So right here, this is more than 5 marks, but I'm sharing with you, like if you write this, you will get one here, you will get one here, then you will get one here, then you have processor checks this, you will get one here as well. Processor will check for higher priority queues and lower priority queues. Here, if it's a higher priority, then processor stores current. If it's lower priority, it goes to next fetch decode execute cycle, checks for source of interrupts and calls ISR. So this is how you can write the answer for this for interrupt service routine. So do you have any confusion in this? You just need to write the 5 points. I have written more than that, so it's easy for you. Then this is question number 4. Now, as you know that in the upcoming Cambridge exams, like what I have seen right here is that the Cambridge exams, they are also giving you diagrams that you need to create. Like you need to draw diagrams. So there can be a question in your exam related to that. So if your concept is clear, you can easily create the diagram. This question says that you have one user and the student enters a URL, uniform resource locator, into a web browser. So what you need to do is that you need to draw and annotate a diagram to show the process from the user entering the URL to the web browser displaying the web page. So it says you need to draw a diagram to show the process from the user entering the URL to the web browser displaying the web page. Okay, so you need to create a diagram. So first of all, let's create a student's computer here. This is your student computer. Now, your student computer will enter a URL, a uniform resource locator will enter a URL, a uniform resource locator to your domain, and this URL will go into the DNS. So you will have your URLs, it will have your IP, and what is the function of a DNS? Like it is used to find the IP for the URL. Is used to find IP for URL, because I discussed in the class that DNS is like a phone book, right? Like a phone book has the contact numbers of everyone. Similarly, DNS has the IP address of every website. So student enters the URL, it goes into the DNS, and then from the DNS, it goes back to your student's computer. So one, this is your second point. And then third one is going to write here that you are going to have an IP address. Now, with this IP address, the user is going to request to IP address, the web server, and the web server is going to process the request. And when it is going to be processed, this will give back the student's computer the website, which is going to be your sixth stage. And in your sixth stage, you are going to have the HTML web page. So this is for 5 marks, and the marks are divided on what you are showing. So it's like the first mark is going to be for right here, that you are showing the URL from the computers to the DNS. Then the DNS, finding the IP address or storing the IP address. This is the second point right here. Then you have the third point, which is like sending IP address to the computers or browser. And then you have like if the web browser, find it from the web server, like requesting IP web server and HTML. So this is for the 5 to 6 points that you must create if you have a diagram like this. So in exam, if you have a similar diagram, so make sure you just break it down your question into these pointers so that it is properly broken down. Do you have any confusion with this part?
Sir, can you explain the fourth point again?
Fourth point is that requests to IP address. सबसे पहले student computer is going to write an URL. It is going to go on the DNS. DNS is going to generate an IP, give it to the computer, and then the computer is going to dial that IP to the web server to access that. Then the web server is going to process the request, and then in return, it is going to display the HTML web page. Any
Right.
confusions?
No, sir.
Okay, then you have the fifth question. So can you tell me the answer for this part? This says that complete the description of digital currencies using the terms provided. A digital currency does not exist. What does it mean? Does not exist. Okay, all right. Thank you, Shayan. Does not exist physically. It can only be accessed electronically. Some digital currencies have ledger called, what are the digital ledgers? They are called as blockchains. All right, that's all correct. Blockchain. These are decentralized database where each transaction is stored as a new set of data with a, what do you think? With a timestamp and is linked to the previous set of data. Yes, timestamp. I showed you the video on that. That video is the perfect explanation of this. This means that the transaction cannot be altered. Only new transactions can be added, which allow the location of the data to be traced. Yes, perfect, perfect. Then this is a question from chapter number 6, which is automated systems. So the question says that a self-driving tractor sow seed and harvest a crop for farmers. The self-driving tractor moves automatically through the field, turning at each end and stopping when it has finished. One reason the self-driving tractor is robot because it has mechanical structure that includes wheel, engine, and a framework. Give one other reason why the self-driving tractor is an example of a robot. Why? Okay, all right. That's also correct. You can also write that because it has electrical components and it is programmable, right? Then you have the B part one. B part one says that if a person is detected within 3 meters while the tractor is moving, now the self-driving tractor must stop. Explain how an infrared sensor, microprocessor, and actuator can be used to stop the self-driving tractor if a person is detected within 3 meters. So this is for the 5 marks. So first of all, you can write that sensors send values or readings to the microprocessor, and then microprocessor will then compare the data to the stored data. The question is if a person is detected within 3 meters, then if the data is less than or within a 3 meter distance, then a signal is sent to actuator to make the tractor stop. If the data or signal is greater than 3 meter, then no action is taken. The whole process repeats. All right, that's all. That's all. That is also correct, Chan. Great work. Then I have the second part. The second part says that identify one sensor and the self-driving tractor might use and how it will use the sensor. So one sensor, I'm just giving you few examples of a sensors. Okay. So you can write here. You just need to write one. I'm giving you some examples. You can write here accelerometer. You can write here proximity. You can write here light sensors. If it is accelerometer, then it means that it is used to adjust for uneven grounds. Proximity is to detect if near the end of fields or obstacles. Light sensor is to identify when to turn the headlights on. So you can write anyone from it. Then you have the C part, explain the drawback of A farmer using a self-driving tractor to sow seeds and harvest crops. What are the drawbacks? You need to write 3 points. So the drawbacks can be set up cost may be high, maintenance cost may be high, or it can leads to unemployment. It can also malfunction. Yes, like this. You need to write 3 points. We have written 4 points. The self-driving tractor has an built-in expert system. The farmer can use to solve any error with the tractor. Identify 3 components of expert system. Expert system is important for your exam. So it's written in the book as well. We discussed it as well. So 3 components are again the knowledge base, rule base, inference engine. Then you have the E part. The E part says that at the end of each day, the self-driving tractor transmits the data it has collected to the farmer computer in their house. The transmission uses an echo check. Describe the role of echo check and the farmer's computer in the echo check. So we discussed this is an example of a data transmission, but they have mixed the question from chapter 2 and chapter 6, but the concept is same. So you can write in terms of the echo check that the same data is transmitted back from computer to tractor, and tractor compare both sets of data. If they are identical, there is no error. Yes, and tractor resends data if they are different. Then in part 2, it says that another method of parity check is parity block checking. The table shows 7 bytes that are transmitted using odd parity. The parity has been compared for each byte. Compared, complete the parity bit for the data. You have byte 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all the parity bits all right here. So I need to complete it. Okay, so it uses an odd parity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. All right. 1. Okay, 0. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So this is an odd parity. Then I have question number 7. Question number 7 says that the data is encrypted before transmission. State the purpose of encryption. Now, please do not write that it prevents the data from being hacked. The concept is that it does not prevent the data from being hacked. The data can still be hacked or the data can still be corrupted. The point is that it only makes the data meaningless, like the one who hacks it. So it does not stops if the data cannot be hacked, but it just stops making sense to that data. So what is the purpose of encrypting the data? It means that if the data is encrypted, it cannot be understood. Discuss the difference between symmetric and asymmetric for 4 marks. So that means symmetric has a shared key to encrypt and decrypt data. Both the sender and receivers know the key, and asymmetric has different keys, a public and a private key to encrypt and decrypt data. Anyone can know the public key, but only those intended know the private key, right? Because public is used to encrypt the data and private is used to decrypt. So you can write it that public is used to encrypt and private is used to decrypt in your words. So that's right, like more than 4 marks. I'm giving you more information so that you can write it. The data is transmitted using packet switching. Identify 2 items of data contained in a packet header. So packet header always have your destination address or your IP address, and it has your sender address or sender IP, and it also has your packet number. Give the purpose of a router in packet switching process. It controls the route the packet takes, or you can say choose an efficient route, or send each packet to its destination. Then I have the last question. The last question says that hexadecimal can be used to represent binary numbers. Convert the binary number 236 into hexadecimal. So I think you can do that. I'm just writing the answer here. It's an EC. You need to show your working here to get the full marks. Then it says give one benefit of using hexadecimal instead of binary. So you can again write easier for humans to understand, read, or remember. You can also write like it's shorter for humans and take less space, all of the ones we discussed. Then this part it says two's complement can be used to represent positive and negative binary integers. Convert the two's complement 101111 into denary. So I think you can do it on your own. You need to show the working here. So the answer for this part is -73. Then convert the denary number 45 into 8-bit 2's complement. This is going to be 00101101. You need to show working here. And then it says logical shifts are performed on binary integers. State the mathematical effect of a right shift. So I discussed this. The mathematical effect of a right shift is like when you divide them by 16, that's it. Or you can say 2 is to power 4. So it's same. This is 1 mark, this is 2 mark.
सर
G.
सर if it was 4 places to the right तब हम multiply by 16 करते.
Yes, I can show you the explanation for this part. Wait. So wait, but do you have any problems in this paper other than this?
No sir.
So I will be sending this paper to you so you can solve it, like take a printout and solve it. And for your question, okay, so this here it is. Computers can carry logical shifts on a sequence of binary numbers. The logical shift means moving the binary to the left or right. Now, each shift left is equivalent to multiplying the binary number by 2. So if it asks you that you are shifting left, so you are going to write this, multiplying the binary number by 2. If it says it's moving right, then you are going to write that it means that it is equal to dividing the binary number by 2. So it depends on the places. If it's 4 places, then 4 times, like this. So any confusions?
सर
G.
सर मेरा एक सवाल था लेकिन वो दूसरे पेपर में एक.
Okay, tell me the paper code.
October November 2024 variant 2. सर 1-2 पेपर 1-2.
This paper?
एक सेकंड सर मैं रीचेक कर लेता हूँ. सर 2022 सॉरी.
2022. This one?
जी सर.
Yes, what is your question?
क्वेश्चन 1 लास्ट सी पार्ट C1. सर ऐसे तरह के क्वेश्चन अभी भी सिलेबस में है.
The touch screen for the ticket machine uses resistive technology. Describe how resistive touch screen technologies operates to recognize a user's touch. This is regarding the operation. Operations are not included, but uh, I don't think so that it will cost us anything if you just go through it. So you can go through this part, that C part 1. It's really easy. That a touch screen is like made up of multiple layers. So when you push on the top of that, the first and the bottom layers mix with each other, and it creates a circuit and joins a circuit where the electricity flows, and you know your desired coordinates and locations. Any problem in this?
नो सर।
All right, so we are done for today. I will share